Hello, thanks for watching another random palm reading. This person sent me pictures of their palms and asked me the questions. Keen to understand career, wealth, and next level of status, and if I'll do my own business in helping people and earn a living. So they want to help people and earn a living. Wants to know more about wealth and status. Okay, so I mean, first of all, when I look at this palm, first things I like to do are to establish what sort of template, what sort of person we're looking at. And in trying to put this into one of the Fred Getting's system of four, we have here an air hand because it's a square palm and long fingers. I've measured the Saturn finger against the length of the palm, and it's just about 7/8 of the palm's length. So we know we have a long Saturn finger, and Saturn is the longest finger of the palm for most people, and it is in this case. So we have an air hand. This is someone who is very sort of fluid in their thoughts, an ideas person, and likes debates, quite sort of analytical. The square palm certainly shows us someone who is common sense, sort of thinking, very capable person, practical, likes to refer to the rule book. I mean, it's ever so slightly spatula, it's slightly wider at the base, only just, and this provides a sort of an adaptability to this sort of very organized and logical and by the book type approach. And also I've looked at the fingerprint patterns. Now we can't see, not on this image so much, but on the left hand you can see it. And here's the left hand. You can just about see that on every fingerprint, can't really see that one, we have loops, and loops provide an adaptability again. And so where we have this person, if you can see here now, I'll start getting into the kind of chirology of the palm, that is the study of the lines. We can see the straightness of the heart line, the straightness of the headline, and this shows us a kind of straightforward thinking with the headline, but also a sort of lateral thinker, a planner, partly because of where the headline is. It's close to outer Mars, and that's a place of sort of planning and an ability to sort of put those plans into practice. A straight headline shows us someone who's able to put those plans into action without having emotions affect their logic, and to set aside, to compartmentalize their life, their environment, their emotions from the decisions they make. So this is a person who will be able to make decisions in the best interests of those around them. So that's good. The straight heart line certainly shows us someone who, again, is very sort of, how can I say this? Someone who is feeling, I suppose, someone with a square palm and a straight headline can be seen as someone who's quite sort of cold at times. But this heartline, I mean, a heartline that is quite straight often shows us someone who is, or can be, sort of quite cold. But it's more than that, though. They're more sort of psychologically complicated. I think they require from a partner someone who is they require sort of different needs in a partner. So the average person from a partner requires a certain amount of physical and sexual attention, whereas someone with a straighter heart line values stability, more and values, is aroused in a more sort of complex and psychological way when in terms of their sex life. But I'm derailing from what I wanted to get to, and that is that someone with a heart line that reaches this high up onto Jupiter certainly shows us someone who is an idealist. And, having this is a very sort of mixed hand, really, because having these sorts of very practical, common sense approach to life, very sort of capable, and with this sort of idealistic approach, they have this sort of feeling that, well, if I can do it, you can do it approach, and that might not always be helpful in their career and with working with others. And they might well at times be sort of let down by their expectancy in what others should be achieving. And just to sort of follow on from that, their idea of what they can achieve in life, what they expect of themselves, is quite high. And that is because we can see that from the high headline. The headline starts quite high up on the palm, literally. And the lifeline, the way the lifeline swings out quite far onto the palm, and this sort of basal, the Venus mount acts as a basal phalanx for the thumb, and I may have expressed this in other videos. The thumb obviously has two phalanges, but the first represents our will, the second represents our ideas and our wants, I suppose, and the third, the Venus mount, acts as this sort of basal phalanx, and it sort of represents our desires and what we can achieve. So we have I will, I want, and I can. And I can here, the Venus mount being quite large, the lifeline swinging out this far, it shows us someone who believes in themselves in terms of their abilities. They think sort of quite, they know they have what it takes, but their self-confidence shows us something actually a little bit different. Because if we look here, Jupiter does not reach quite as high as Apollo, and yet Apollo is higher set. So this shows us that this person actually has, although they have abilities in themselves, they have confidence in their own abilities, but not confidence in themselves, if that makes sense. So they might well have the confidence in what they can do, but not what they're saying, not in terms of confidence and self-esteem. So really, for this person to grow, I think they need to develop more in terms of self-confidence, and certainly with a profession where our success is dependent on the success of others. This is quite complex. There is a possibility here to put too many eggs into one basket, and we could be setting ourselves up for failure if we are focusing too much on work, and that's what I mean by putting all our eggs into one basket. There needs to be a safety net here. There needs to be a plan B for happiness. We can't focus too much onto work, focus too much into work. There needs to be a careful work-life balance. And this person is capable of that, absolutely, because of their abilities to adapt and to sort of compartmentalize and organize. So they certainly have those abilities there, but I would certainly advise that they need to, where they will be successful, sort of gain success, is through being more trusting with others. and throwing themselves in, not so much into their work, but into the possibilities of what others can achieve, and allowing people to, in their work now, to proceed as more as they wish in their own way, and just taking that gamble, take that risk with others. So if we look at the left hand and compare it with the right, there are some great changes here. And this person, certainly they have skills, and you can see that by, I mean, look at this. The angle of the thumb here, just the outside angle of the thumb. Look at that 1 second. Now look at this on the right hand. Look at how much more pronounced that is on the right hand. That's the angle of time, or the angle of proficiency. This person has gained skills. They have gained skills with their hands particularly, but also academically as well, I think, because if we look here on the right hand, you'll see two little triangles on the line, and these are, well, flags if you like, but what these show us are the vertical lines are effort lines, and these more horizontal lines, they're still upwards, so that's still good, they point towards Mercury. And Mercury is this place of skills and learning, it's calculations and communication and expression and academia. So overall Mercury sort of shows us independence and scientific industrial thinking and learning, and communication and expression. And when what we have here is this, these efforts, improvements to our lives, and these efforts as well to improve our learning as well. So these are academic studies, these are skills acquired that improve this person's life, and they create this formation of a triangle, and it's very sort of it's a structure that is strong. Triangles form great sort of foundations for later on. And triangles can never really be a bad thing, and they relate to the 30s, the mid 30s, and the early 40s. And this first triangle here relates to this here, and we can sort of see these efforts in this person's life, attempts at trying to better themselves and working towards. You can see here the right hand shows us the material and the physical and what's actually occurred in the practical world, whereas the left shows us how those same events have affected us internally. And we can see that the career line here, it's making an attempt here to reach for Jupiter, this place of honor and rising in life, which coincides with what this person believes they can achieve, having this high headline, this ambitious, high rising headline. And, in the sort of late 20s here, there was an obstacle that kind of stopped this plan to work towards this place of authority and ambition and honor. This place of working above others, but perhaps for and with others. So it could be that there was some environmental factor here that, stopped the possibility of this. In any case, this plan, it's not as though it was all for nothing, because there was still an income, and once again you can sort of see how, as the career line approaches the headline, it does try to again carve a career out of It's aiming more towards Jupiter again. And again, we kind of see this another obstacle where you can see one there, look, coming from the headline, and it's almost as though there was a decision there to stop that career for whatever reason, and it might not well have been a good idea, but I don't think they could have helped it. I think they had to, because you can see the heart line here. There's a branch coming from the heart line crashing into the headline, so the heart's kind of saying at this time, I need to rely on logic at this time. So it was such a emotionally difficult time. They needed to kind of remove themselves emotionally and rely on logic. And so that's partly why I think there was this change, this sort of learning alongside what I'm doing, this attempt to change my career and move it in a different direction. That I need to put that on hold right now. That's sort of what happened here, and I think that there may well have been some sort of a relationship breakdown at the age of about 37. And then we start to see the career pick up again, and again we can see it turning more, it's trying to turn more towards Jupiter again. So we have this repeating story of a person who knows what they want, they're trying to do it, and things just sort of seem to keep getting in the way. And, with what we've already read about this person in their question, that they want to have a career in helping others, we can see that they have a strong intuition line which touches a not so fully formed girdle of Venus, and that shows us this person has excellent instincts in reading others and knowing just sort of intuitively what's best for others. It's the danger, I suppose, is in just letting that person have free. There needs to be an approach here about letting people have freedom in making mistakes. We have the right to make mistakes. We can only learn and self-develop through the mistakes we make. And so mistakes are not actually a bad thing. Failure is not a bad thing. It's only through failure that we really learn, or we learn much more from failure than success. So whilst this person wants to see others succeed, and they will gain job satisfaction and success through that, there needs to be an allowance for allowing others to fail. And it's important for this person to see others' failures as their path to success. This is quite complex here, and I've had to spend a good deal of time sort of reading this palm and understanding where I was going to go with a conclusion, because it's quite a complicated one. In terms of status, there will be another episode in this person's life. I don't know how old this person is. The only information I know about this person is what I've shown you here in the email they've sent me. There will be another episode which comes with some difficulties, but at the same time a door will open, and that is mid-50s, early to mid-50s. Their time will come for their career to really kick off in the direction that they want. It'll make more money. But before that happens, just before that happens, a door needs to close before another opens. And it could well be that this is it could be another relationship breakdown. It's hard to say, but at this time we can see an interference towards this person's happiness, and a square formed here, so there's a need to protect, and they will receive some protection, either that's through support from friends or family. And I think there is a kind of a danger of this person having sort of adrenal fatigue, because of the constant sort of lines all over the second phalanges of this person's fingers. You can see it all over them. So I think this person has a tendency to work a bit too hard and obsess a little bit too hard over their work, and that's why I kind of feel that there is a sort of danger in not being able to balance work and home life. And so I think they have the capabilities of doing that. So I think they need to prioritize and be able to compartmentalize and leave work at work when they come home. And I hope that makes sense. So the things I've noticed about when comparing this person's left and right hand are great differences, and I sort of began touching on it and then I digressed. So the first one was the skills they've gained in the angle of time and proficiency on the thumb, and you can see just how more pronounced that is now. Also, look at the thumb itself. Look at how high it is on the left hand. We can see that it almost reaches the first phalanx of Jupiter. So it's not a long thumb, but on the right, just look at how much longer it is. This person has come into a stage of realization in their life as to what they want to do and how they want to do it. And they're willing to do it, and they know they can do it. There's just, the only thing I think they need, this person, is a little bit more belief in themselves and others. Trust in others more. And trust in your own self-worth. The other things I've noticed about this person's palm is, and I don't know if anyone else has picked up on this, look at the little finger. It's a little bit low set. It's not short, which shows a good communicator. The first phalanx with all the fingers are long. And this shows someone who has, again, quite a sort of high expectancy of themselves. Perhaps quite a religious person. Where their ideas come from are profound, where their thoughts and feelings come from are profound. And that's why I think this person is potentially quite religious. Look at just how sort of well developed the first phalanx of Apollo is, and again it's long. And this shows us again this person has skills with their hands. They are good at producing physical results with their hands. And I think they gain a good sense of satisfaction from that as well. And so in terms of, as I've said before, not putting all their eggs in one basket career-wise, it might be sensible to have some sort of productive hobby as a sideline that can turn into a career as a safety net, because they certainly gain a good sense of satisfaction from doing these things, and they're good at it. So although Mercury is not short on the left hand, in comparison with the right, it's a lot longer on the right hand, just like the thumb. And this shows us that these efforts towards self-developing, bettering themselves academically, learning these skills in their mid-30s and early 40s, or perhaps mid-40s as well, we can see that how this person has developed. And it's fascinating to see just how much longer the Mercury finger is on the right hand and the thumb on the right hand when compared to the left. They've really grown as a person, and so they have great capabilities of this self-growth. And as I say, they have high expectancy of themselves and others. I just want this person not to have too much expectancy, otherwise they set themselves up for potentially some failure. There's a great deal of self-discipline in this palm, and that's evident by the square angle of the lower edge of Luna down here. It's very sort of rectangular, and the headline as well is quite straight. It forks as it branches downwards, and that sort of shows us this person views money in a way that's sort of as a necessary cog in the machine. They're not going to get down about the bar graph sort of dipping down at some point. Things come and go, and this person understands that money is a necessary tool in life, and they understand the value of money as well, and that's shown by the second Phalanges of Saturn and Apollo, they're well developed. There's a little knot there in Saturn. They understand numbers as well. So in terms of status and wealth, that will come, as I say, I believe it will come early to mid 50s, but during a time when one door in their life closes. So it sort of seems as though there may well be an obstacle in their sort of emotional life in order for their sort of career life to open up. That's just sort of what I'm seeing here. And look at just how sort of red darkened the colours are of the fingertips here. And again, that kind of shows the just how sort of profound these the thoughts and the feelings that this person has, and that the belief they have in themselves, but not the only thing they're really lacking in is the sort of self-esteem, the self-confidence. They have belief in their own skills and what they're able to achieve, but not their self-esteem. This is a complex person, and as such, there's sort of complex scenarios they kind of find themselves in. It's a very sort of mixed hand, and they're very capable, very skillful, able and adaptable, and as a result, it's sensible for this person to learn a few skills, become proficient in a few skills, so that there's safety nets there in terms of career. But I don't see a reason why this person won't succeed, because they have what it takes. This person will succeed, and whatever they put their mind to, the cost may well be in another area in their life as a result. And so, opening up in terms of that's a big one as well, actually. Look at the distance between the headline and the heart line. It's quite sort of closed, and there's a bit of a gap here between Apollo and Saturn. And in order to work with others, it's important to let others in to some degree. I suppose I'm being a bit contradictory here, because I'm talking about having a work balance life, a balance between work and home life. But at the same time, this person has always had a clear divide between their work and who they let close, who they let in, and that's shown by this narrowness here between the heart and the headline. But as I've said, I think that if this person trusts in other people more and allows others to, that it's still possible to be ourselves, let our guards down at work, be more trusting, and still leave work at work, if that makes sense. You can still, that's where I think this person will be really happy and successful, is in by letting their guard down, letting others in, and trusting in others, and allowing others to make mistakes. So I hope that all makes sense. Been a bit of a strange one, this one. A complex read. And, I can see here, you can see the success line. It steers towards a place of expression towards later life. And I think they will, as I say, that status, that wealth will come, but it won't come until later life. But it will be there, and that happiness will come with it as well. But there's some obstacles for this person on the way. In particular, and this is what I'll end on here, we can see a horizontal line here at the basal phalanx of Saturn. So in the later period of September, the month we're in at the time of this video recording, this person will hit some sort of obstacle, possibly in their career. So just a heads up there. Alright, so thanks for watching. I hope that all makes sense, and please subscribe and like and tell all your friends just how amazing Pisces palmist is. See you next time.